What if I told you that the key to understanding the universe, mastering your reality, and unlocking your maximum potential has been hidden in plain sight for centuries? Throughout time and civilizations, seekers of truth have stumbled upon fragments of this knowledge, yet few have grasped its full power. These are not new ideas, but ancient principles codified in Hermetic philosophy and preserved for those willing to see the world for what it truly is. The seven Hermetic laws are not just abstract concepts, they are the very fabric of existence. They shape everything you see, hear, and experience, and most importantly, they hold the secret to unlocking your infinite potential. This is the ultimate map for life, and once you understand it, you will never look at the world the same way again. Stay with me, and together we will uncover these universal truths in ways that will resonate deeply with your soul. If this has already touched you, leave a like now. It's your way of telling me that you feel the truth of these words inside you. I will know that you are not here by chance, but because something in you is ready to awaken. That simple gesture is a powerful signal. I am here. I choose to see beyond. And I will see it. The universe is mental, not metaphorically but literally. The first Hermetic law, the principle of mentalism, reveals a truth that mystics and philosophers have hinted at for millennia. All is mind. The universe is mental. Everything you see, everything you touch, and everything you experience begins as a thought. Reality itself is a projection of consciousness. Your mind is not a mere passenger in this vast cosmic drama. It is the architect. Think about it. Every invention, every work of art, every revolution in history began as an idea. Thoughts are the invisible threads that weave the fabric of reality, but this principle isn't limited to grand ideas or groundbreaking innovations. It applies to every moment of your life. What you think, you become. Your beliefs, emotions, and mental focus shape the circumstances around you. It's not just philosophy, science supports it. Quantum physics suggests that the act of observation affects particles, which means that consciousness itself interacts with reality. The universe doesn't just exist independently of you, it responds to the energy of your thoughts and beliefs. This means you have far more power than you've been led to believe. Think of your mind as a lens. When it's clouded by doubt, fear, or negativity, the world around you reflects that fog. But when it's clear and focused, full of intention and purpose, your reality is transformed. This is the essence of the principle of mentalism. Align your mental state with your desired outcomes, and you will begin to influence the reality you experience. This is where change begins. Start by observing your thoughts. Most of us live unaware of the constant mental chatter that shapes our actions. What stories do you tell yourself about your abilities? What beliefs have you inherited from others that limit your potential? Awareness is the first step toward mastery, but understanding this principle requires more than intellectual agreement. It requires practice. Visualization, affirmations, and mindfulness are tools for harnessing the power of this law. Visualize your goals as if they were already accomplished. Speak your desires with conviction. Train your mind to focus not on what you fear, but on what you want to create. Mentalism is the cornerstone of the seven Hermetic laws because it reveals the infinite creative potential within each of us. Once you understand that reality is not fixed but fluid, shaped by your consciousness, the world becomes a playground for transformation. Every thought is a seed, every belief is a blueprint. The question is, what will you choose to build? As above, so below. As below, so above. In these simple yet profound words, the correspondence principle invites us to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. It tells us that the patterns that govern the cosmos are reflected in the smallest elements of our lives. The universe is not a disordered chaos, but a harmonious network of repeating structures, with each level of reality reflecting the whole. Think of fractals, those mesmerizing, infinitely repeating geometric patterns found in both mathematics and nature. From the veins of a leaf to the spirals of galaxies, these drawings testify to correspondence, The laws that govern the heavens govern even the tiniest particle. The microcosm and the macrocosm are one, each a mirror of the other. But this principle is not just about appreciating natural patterns, it is about understanding how your inner world reflects and shapes external reality. Consider this: the relationships, circumstances, and opportunities in your life often mirror your internal state. When chaos reigns within, it manifests externally as disorder, conflict, or stagnation. Conversely, when mind and spirit are in harmony, your external world reflects clarity, opportunity, and growth. Correspondence teaches us that by mastering the microcosm of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can influence the macrocosm of our reality. This principle also sheds light on the unity between the spiritual, mental, and physical realms. Just as the physical body needs nourishment and care, so do the mind and spirit. Neglect one aspect, and the imbalance reverberates through all levels of existence. Understanding this interconnectedness allows us to create harmony within, knowing that it will expand outward. To see the correspondence in action, look at the cycles of life. The rise and fall of civilizations mirror the rise and fall of a single human life. The patterns of day and night echo the ebb and flow of our energy. Even emotions have their counterparts. Moments of joy correspond to clarity, just as despair often aligns with confusion. These patterns are not random. They are a map of the universe guiding us toward balance and alignment. Applying this principle means becoming a careful observer. Start small. Notice patterns in your daily life. Are there recurring themes in your relationships or challenges? What might these patterns reflect about your inner state? By understanding the correspondence between the inner and outer worlds, you gain the power to rewrite your reality. It also means seeing the bigger picture. When faced with challenges, ask yourself, what greater truth does this moment reflect? What lessons do they contain that echo universal patterns? By shifting your perspective, you can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and purpose. Correspondence reminds us that nothing exists in isolation. The world is not compartmentalized, but flows seamlessly from one realm to another. When you align your inner world with universal principles, you access a harmony that transcends surface chaos. You begin to see the invisible threads that connect everything and understand that nothing in life is truly separate. The principle of correspondence is an invitation to harmonize with the universe. By mastering the small, we can master the large. By observing the large, we can master the small. The question is, will you open your eyes to the patterns and align with them, or will you let them unconsciously guide your life? Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. These words hold the key to understanding the invisible forces that shape our reality. The principle of vibration reveals a profound truth. Everything in the universe, from the densest matter to the highest thought, is in constant motion. This incessant vibration defines the nature of existence, and by mastering it, we can transform our lives. Look around you. What appears solid and still is at its core a dance of vibrating particles. Science confirms this ancient Hermetic principle. Atoms, the building blocks of matter, are never at rest. Even the most stable objects hum with energy at the molecular level. But vibration is not limited to the physical world. It extends to your thoughts, emotions, and spirit, each carrying a frequency that determines your state of being. Have you ever noticed how some people simply lift you up with their presence, while others seem to drain your energy? This is vibration at work. Every thought, word, and emotion emits a frequency that resonates with or repels others. Love, joy, and gratitude vibrate at higher frequencies, while anger, fear, and despair reside in lower ranges. The energy you possess influences not only your mood, but also the circumstances you attract into your life. Here, the principle of vibration becomes a tool for transformation. By consciously raising your vibration, you can align yourself with higher states of being and open yourself to greater possibilities. Start by examining the energy you emit each day. What emotions dominate your inner world? What words do you speak to yourself and others? To shift your vibration, you must begin with awareness. The practical steps are simple but powerful. Gratitude is one of the most effective ways to raise your vibration. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. Likewise, acts of kindness, whether towards others or yourself, create ripples of high frequency energy. Meditation and mindfulness help quiet the noise of low vibrations, allowing clarity and peace to emerge. But vibration isn't just about emotions, it's about action. The choices you make every day, what you eat, how you move your body, the media you consume, affect your vibrational state. Surround yourself with environments and people that inspire growth. Avoid sources of negativity that drag down your energy. Think of your vibration as a garden. Nurture it carefully and it will flourish. Understanding this principle also means recognizing the vibrational nature of challenges. When life feels heavy, it is often because we are stuck in low frequencies. These moments are not punishments, but invitations to change. Ask yourself, how can I raise my energy in this situation? Sometimes the answer is something as simple as a deep breath or a walk in nature. Other times it requires deeper work, such as letting go of limiting beliefs or unresolved pain. The principle of vibration reminds us that nothing is static. Even when life seems stuck, change is always possible. Just as a low note can rise to a high note, your energy can shift when you act with intention. The universe itself is a symphony of vibrations, and you are part of it. By embracing this principle, you begin to see yourself not as a passive observer, but as an active participant in the vibrational dance of existence. Your energy shapes your reality, just as the energy of the universe shapes the cosmos. So, at what frequency will you choose to live? Will you allow the low vibrations of fear and doubt to dictate your path? Or will you rise aligning with love, purpose, and harmony? Choice, like vibration, is always in motion. Everything is dual, everything has its poles, everything has its pair of opposites. The principle of polarity reveals a powerful and challenging truth. The dualities we experience in life, love and hate, light and dark, success and failure, are not separate forces, but different expressions of the same thing. Understanding this principle allows you to master the art of perspective and transform even the most difficult experiences into growth. Think of hot and cold. They are not distinct elements, but varying degrees of the same energy. There is no clear line where hot becomes cold. It is a gradient. The same is true for emotions. Love and hate, for example, may seem worlds apart, but they are opposite ends of the same spectrum. The intensity of one often reveals the potential for the other. That is the beauty of polarity. It shows us that opposites are interconnected and that mastery lies in navigating the space between them. In everyday life, this principle plays out constantly. Consider a failure that once seemed devastating. Over time, it may have become the catalyst for your greatest accomplishments. Failure and success are not separate. They are two poles on the same journey. By embracing this truth, you gain the ability to shift your perspective and reinterpret challenges as opportunities. The principle of polarity also offers a key to emotional alchemy. When you feel stuck in anger, fear, or despair, you have the power to shift toward their opposite. This doesn't mean denying or repressing negative emotions, but recognizing them as part of a continuum and actively moving toward a higher state. For example, frustration can become understanding, and doubt can transform into trust when you consciously shift your focus. This principle invites you to look more deeply at the dualities in your life. In what areas do you feel imbalanced? Where do you cling to one pole and resist the other? Balance is not about eliminating one side, but about harmonizing both. A person who represses sadness will struggle to experience full joy. Likewise, avoiding failure can hinder growth and success. True mastery comes from embracing the full spectrum of experience. Take relationships, for example. The same connection that brings joy and love can also evoke frustration or pain. But these opposites are not a flaw, they are a natural part of the bond. By accepting both poles, you can navigate relationships with greater compassion and understanding. The ability to see unity in opposites is what transforms conflict into harmony. Polarity also governs our thoughts. How you think about a situation determines how you experience it. A setback can feel like the end of the world or the beginning of a new chapter, depending on your perspective. By consciously choosing to shift your mindset, you can move along the spectrum from disconnection to empowerment. One of the most transformative aspects of this principle is its application to personal growth. Many of us see flaws and strengths as separate, but they are two sides of the same coin. The vulnerability that makes you sensitive is also the root of your empathy. The fear that holds you back can become the fuel for courage. By integrating your opposites, you become whole. Applying the principle of polarity does not mean erasing extremes, but finding fluidity between them. When life seems stuck in negativity, remember that the opposite pole is always available. The darkest night holds the potential for dawn. The greatest pain hides the seeds of new love. Recognizing this interconnectedness allows you to navigate the ups and downs with grace. Polarity is not a force to be resisted, but a tool to be embraced. It teaches us that life's opposites are not enemies, but allies that push us toward balance and growth. The question is not whether opposites exist, but how you choose to navigate them. Will you let the poles divide you, or will you find harmony in their dance? Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. The principle of rhythm reminds us that life is a constant dance of movement, a perpetual ebb and flow. Nothing remains static. From the cycles of nature to the rise and fall of civilizations, rhythm governs all of existence. It is the universal law of change, and understanding it can help you navigate the ups and downs with wisdom and grace. Look around you and you will see rhythm everywhere. The sun rises and sets, the seasons alternate in a predictable flow. Even your body obeys this law. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your sleep cycles, all governed by natural rhythms. But rhythm extends far beyond the physical world. It influences emotions, relationships, and personal growth. No joy is eternal, but neither is any pain. Life is a series of tides that ebb and flow, offering you a constant opportunity to reset and readjust. Have you ever felt like life is conspiring against you, where everything seems to be going wrong at once? Or maybe you've experienced a time when everything seemed to flow effortlessly and in alignment. These moments aren't random, they're part of the natural rhythm of existence. The universe operates in cycles, and your life is no exception. Once you understand this principle, you can stop resisting change and instead learn to ride its waves. Resisting the rhythm often leads to unnecessary suffering. When we hold on to a moment, whether it's a peak we don't want to miss or a low we want to escape, we create tension. But rhythm is inevitable. Just as the tides of the ocean can't be held back, so can the cycles of your life. The secret is to learn to move with the rhythm rather than against it. This principle also offers profound insights into personal growth. Consider how progress often seems cyclical rather than linear. You take 2 steps forward only to feel like you've taken 1 step back. But that's not failure, it's rhythm. Growth happens in waves, and even when you seem to be regressing, you're part of a larger flow, preparing you for the next leap forward. To align yourself with the rhythm, start by observing it in your life. Pay attention to your energy levels, emotions, and productivity throughout the day, week, or month. Are there patterns when you feel inspired or drained? Recognizing these natural rhythms allows you to work with them rather than pushing against them. For example, if you know you're most creative in the morning, prioritize deep work then. When you feel a slump, give yourself permission to rest rather than push. The principle of rhythm also applies to relationships. Every connection has its own flow, with moments of closeness and distance. Instead of fearing the natural drift in a relationship, recognize it as an opportunity to reflect and readjust. Just as the tide must go out before it comes in, periods of distance often precede deeper intimacy. This principle is not passivity, it is adaptability. When you recognize the rhythm, you can prepare for it to change. For example, in difficult times, remind yourself that the pendulum will swing again. In moments of joy, savor them fully, knowing that they are precious precisely because of their impermanence. Rhythm teaches us to appreciate the fleeting beauty of life while remaining grounded in the certainty of change. It is also a guide to resilience. When the pendulum swings toward difficulty rather than resist, ask yourself, what lessons does this cycle offer me? What strength can I cultivate in this moment? Every decline contains the potential for growth, just as every rising tide enriches the shore. By embracing this perspective, you become less reactive to life's fluctuations and more in tune with its flow. The principle of rhythm invites you to stop fighting the tides and start flowing with them. Life is not a straight line, but a series of waves. By aligning yourself with this natural rhythm, you can find peace in the process and strength in the cycles. So, next time you feel stuck or overwhelmed, remember, every tide goes out, but it also comes back. Will you resist the rhythm of life, or will you learn to move with it? Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. The law of cause and effect reveals one of the most profound truths about existence. Nothing happens by chance. Every action, thought, and decision sends ripples through the universe, shaping not only the present, but also the future. This law reminds us that we are both creators and participants in the intricate web of life, constantly influencing and being influenced by the forces around us. Observe your life for a moment. Have you ever felt that certain patterns or challenges repeat themselves? Maybe you find yourself drawn to the same types of relationships, careers, or conflicts. This isn't coincidence, it's cause and effect. The choices you've made, consciously or unconsciously, have led you to where you are now. But far from being a source of guilt or regret, this realization is the key to empowerment. If you created your current circumstances, you have the power to create new ones. Consider the smaller moments in your day. When you smile at a stranger, you brighten their mood, and perhaps that person will pass the positivity on to another. Conversely, a harsh word or thoughtless action can set off a chain reaction of negativity. These everyday interactions are living proof of the principle of cause and effect in action. And while the outcomes of larger decisions, changing careers, moving, starting a relationship, may take time to unfold, they are equally governed by this principle. But cause and effect aren't limited to the external world. They also operate within you. Your thoughts are the causes of your emotions, and your emotions drive your actions. Negative self-talk leads to self-doubt, which affects your ability to take risks or pursue goals. On the other hand, cultivating empowering beliefs sets off a chain reaction that propels you towards success. By understanding this principle, you can become the architect of your inner and outer worlds. This law also reminds us of the interplay between responsibility and freedom. While it is tempting to blame external forces for our struggles, the principle of cause and effect challenges us to look within. What role have we played in shaping our circumstances? What patterns of thought, behavior, or belief have led to our current reality? Taking responsibility is not about taking blame. It is about reclaiming the power to change the narrative. In practical terms, mastering cause and effect begins with awareness. Start by looking at the choices you make every day. Are your actions aligned with your goals? Do your thoughts support the life you want to create? By becoming aware of the causes you set in motion, you can begin to direct the effects. For example, if you want better relationships, focus on being more present and empathetic. If you want success, cultivate habits that align with your vision. The results may not be immediate, but they are inevitable. This principle also teaches us patience. Just as planting a seed does not produce a tree overnight, the effects of your actions often take time to manifest. Trust the process. The effort you put in today, whether it's learning a new skill, healing past wounds, or investing in your dreams, will bear fruit in ways you can't yet see. Cause and effect operate on universal time, not human time. It's important to note that this principle works independently of consciousness. Just as gravity pulls objects to the ground, believe it or not, cause and effect are always at work. Ignoring them doesn't exempt you from their influence. It simply makes you a passive participant in your life. But when you align yourself with this law, you step into the role of a conscious creator. Cause and effect also illuminate the power of choice. Every moment offers a fork in the road where you can decide what kind of energy, action, or thought you want to put into the world. These choices may seem small, but they are cumulative, shaping the trajectory of your life. The question is not whether you are creating an impact, but what kind of impact you are creating. When you fully embrace this principle, you realize that there is no such thing as chance. Everything, from the smallest coincidence to the greatest accomplishment, unfolds according to the seeds you plant. Life is not happening to you, it is responding to you. The universe is not chaotic, but ordered, governed by laws that invite you to participate in the act of creation. So ask yourself, what causes are you setting in motion right now? Are they aligned with the life you want to build, or are they reinforcing patterns you are ready to let go of? Cause and effect reminds us that we are never powerless. Every thought, word, and action is an opportunity to create the future you desire. What will you choose to create today? Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. This Hermetic law is not about biological gender, but about the dual creative forces that exist in every aspect of life. The principle of gender reveals that everything in the universe contains both masculine and feminine energies, and harmony arises from the integration of these complementary forces. When these energies are balanced, creativity flourishes, relationships thrive, and inner peace becomes attainable. Think of the masculine as action, focus, and initiation, the energy that propels us forward, creates structure, and takes decisive steps. The feminine, on the other hand, represents intuition, nurturing, and receptivity, the energy that creates space, fosters connection, and allows ideas to grow. Both are essential, and neither can function at its best without the other. Together, they form the dynamic interplay that governs all creation. You can see the principle of gender everywhere in nature. The seed, male, meets the soil, female, to create new life. In art, the structure of a painting, male, combines with the flow of creativity, female, to produce beauty. Even in your personal growth, the male drive to set goals must balance with the female ability to reflect and adapt. Without this balance, life becomes either rigid and inflexible or chaotic and directionless. This principle also works within us, regardless of gender identity. Each of us carries both energies, and they influence every aspect of our lives. For example, when you assert yourself, make decisions, or take action, you are tapping into your masculine energy. When you listen deeply, nurture relationships, or trust your intuition, you are tapping into your feminine side. True mastery comes from integrating these energies, allowing them to work together rather than in opposition. But balance doesn't come naturally, it requires awareness. Many of us lean too far toward one energy, neglecting the other. In a world that often glorifies productivity and achievement, the masculine is overemphasized, leaving little room for the feminine qualities of rest, intuition, and connection. On the other hand, some can become so immersed in reflection or creativity, feminine energy, that they struggle to take action or set boundaries, masculine energy. Both extremes create imbalance. To integrate these energies, start by observing your tendencies. Do you push yourself to exhaustion, ignoring the need for rest and recharging? Or do you hesitate to act, overwhelmed by uncertainty? Recognizing these patterns is the first step to creating harmony. The next step is to consciously cultivate the energy you lack. For example, if you are too focused on doing, masculine, practice being, meditate, spend time in nature, or engage in creative activities. If you are stuck in reflection or indecision, feminine, set a clear goal and take a small concrete step toward it. This principle also applies to relationships. The healthiest connections are those where both energies are present and balanced. One partner's strength in action complements the other's strength in intuition, creating a dynamic partnership where both energies can flourish. But it's important to remember that balance doesn't mean uniformity. Each person brings their own unique blend of masculine and feminine energies, and the magic is in how they interact. On a larger scale, the gender principle reminds us of the creative potential within all of us. Whether building a business, writing a book, or nurturing a family, creation requires both the masculine energy of structure and the feminine energy of flow. Without action, ideas remain dreams. Without intuition, actions lack depth. The union of these energies is what transforms possibility into reality. This principle also offers a profound spiritual truth. Masculine and feminine energies are not just human qualities, they are cosmic forces. They exist in the dance of the stars, the cycles of the moon, and the balance of the earth itself. By aligning with these energies, you access the creative power of the universe. So, how do you begin to integrate this principle into your life? Start small. If you feel unbalanced, ask yourself, what energy is missing right now? If you are constantly moving, try stillness. If you are lost in thought, try action. Remember, balance is not perfection, it is flow. Life will naturally tilt from one side to the other, and your job is to bring it back to the center. The gender principle is a reminder that you are both a creator and a nurturing king, both a force for action and a source of insight. These energies are not opposites to be reconciled, but partners to be celebrated. When you fully integrate them, you unlock a state of harmony that allows your highest potential to unfold. What will you create when you embrace the full spectrum of your energy? What will become possible when you stop resisting one part of yourself and learn to dance with both? The seven Hermetic laws are not simply abstract principles to contemplate, they are tools of transformation ready to be applied to your daily existence. When integrated into your thoughts, actions, and decisions, these laws become a map to align your life with the flow of the universe. By living in harmony with these principles, you can cultivate greater clarity, resilience, and self-mastery. Start with mentalism. Understanding that the universe is a mental construct forces you to take responsibility for your thoughts. Instead of letting your mind wander aimlessly or dwelling on negativity, focus on the reality you want to create. Adopt small, intentional practices. Visualize your goals as already accomplished. Say affirmations that align with your desires. Tend to your thoughts like a gardener tends a delicate plant. Remember, what you think consistently becomes the blueprint for what you experience. The next step is correspondence. By observing patterns in your life, you gain insights into universal truths. Notice how your internal state mirrors external reality. If you experience chaos in your work or relationships, ask yourself, what inside me is disturbed? Conversely, when your mind and spirit are in harmony, the external world reflects clarity and opportunity. The microcosm and macrocosm are not separate. By improving one, you influence the other. The principle of vibration reminds you that everything you do carries energy. The food you eat, the music you listen to, even the words you speak influence your vibrational state. To apply this principle, analyze your daily habits. Do they uplift you or drag you down? Choose activities that raise your frequency. Gratitude, meditation, time in nature. You will attract more positive experiences. Polarity is a powerful tool for shifting perspective. Life will always present dualities, success and failure, joy and pain, but these opposites are not fixed. The key is to remember that you can move along the spectrum. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, how can I transform this experience into growth? For example, anger can be redirected into creative energy. By mastering this principle, you become less reactive and more intentional. With rhythm, the focus is on the flow. Life has its cycles. Instead of resisting them, learn to work with them. When you are in a good moment, use that energy to move forward. When you are in a low phase, rest and prepare for the next wave. This principle teaches resilience and patience, reminding you that every phase has a purpose. Cause and effect is perhaps the most actionable principle. Every decision you make creates ripples that go beyond what you see. To use this law effectively, act with awareness. Before making a choice, whether it's in the words of a conversation or a career move, ask yourself, what outcome do I want to create? Small, deliberate actions, over time, produce profound results. Finally, gender calls you to balance the impulse to act, masculine energy, with the capacity to reflect and nurture, feminine energy. Take stock of your life. Are you too focused on doing with little room for being, or are you stuck in thought, afraid to act? By aligning these energies, you create harmony, achieving goals while staying connected to intuition. Bringing together all 7 laws creates a life of intentionality and flow. Imagine a day where your thoughts are clear, your actions are deliberate, your energy is balanced. You wake up with a sense of purpose, knowing that every decision resonates with the rhythms of the universe. Even challenges seem less daunting because you understand the laws that govern them. Applying these laws doesn't require radical change. Start small, focusing on one principle at a time. Notice how it manifests in your routines. Over time, you will notice a shift, not just in your circumstances, but in the way you perceive and interact with the world. The 7 Hermetic laws are not a magic formula. They are a guide to co-creating with the universe. They remind you that life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. By aligning yourself with these principles, you become both the architect and the artist of your reality, crafting an existence that reflects your highest potential. So, the question is, how will you begin to apply these laws today? What small action can you take right now to align your mind, energy, and intentions with the flow of the universe? The answers are within you, waiting for you to act. If these words have ignited something inside you, then leave a like to make it shine. Write in the comments which of the 7 laws struck you the most and why. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, not to follow me, but to follow yourself on your path of awakening and mastery. This is a calling for those who want to live with intention, not for those who settle. May you remember who you really are and create your reality with love, courage, and awareness. With all my heart, I wish you a path filled with light. See you soon, soul to soul.